My name is Hamza Daabjeerin and you are watching the Security Update. These are the stories making the headlines in this episode. Somalia Minister of Information reports death of 30 Al-Shabaab fighters in Tuesday attack. Uganda probes attack on its army's base in Pulamarer, Somalia. Saudi Arabia, US call for renewal of imperfectly observed ceasefire in Sudan. Welcome to the program. The Somalia Ministry of Information has issued an official statement concerning an attack by the Al-Shabaab on Masagwai town, which occurred on Tuesday. According to the statement, government forces effectively thwarted the militant assault, resulting in the elimination of 30 Al-Shabaab fighters and the seizure of 3 vehicles. 3 government soldiers sustained injuries during the engagement, as detailed in the statement.
The Somalia Ministry of Information has issued an official statement concerning an attack by the Al-Shabaab on Masagwai town, which occurred on Tuesday. According to the statement, government forces effectively thwarted the militant assault, resulting in the elimination of 30 Al-Shabaab fighters and the seizure of 3 vehicles. 3 government soldiers sustained injuries during the engagements, as detailed in the statement. Prior to this official statement, government media outlets had already reported the response of national forces in repelling the attempted Al-Shabaab attack on Masagwai town, situated in the central Gamudug state. In contrast, Al-Shabaab's media has presented a different narrative of the incident. The group alleges that its militants targeted a military base manned by troops trained in Eritrea. Furthermore, Al-Shabaab claims to have ambushed reinforcements dispatched by El Deir town, resulting in the purported death of 73 soldiers. However, the media cannot independently verify the claims made by both sides. The government forces, in conjunction with local fighters, successfully liberated Masagwai from Al-Shabaab's control in January of this year. In April, the town fell victim to another attack by the Al-Shabaab, resulting in the lives of 3 soldiers who had been actively involved in local efforts, and of course 3 elders who had been involved in local efforts against Al-Shabaab.
The Ugandan military has announced its initiation of an investigation into an assault on African Union military base that is currently manned by the Ugandan People's Defense Forces in the town of Bulamarer in Somalia. The incident occurred during the early hours of Friday morning. The Ugandan military has announced its initiation of an investigation into an assault on an African Union military base that is currently manned by the Ugandan People's Defense Forces in the town of Pulamarer in Somalia. The incident occurred during the early hours of Friday morning. Felix Kulayige, the spokesperson for the UPDF, noted that the attack was executed by foreign insurgents, while refraining from providing any additional specific information regarding the perpetrators. He further stated that they are diligently verifying the available information in collaboration with the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia headquarters, PERIA, to issue an official statement on the matter. Al-Shabaab said in a statement that it had carried out the suicide bomb attacks and killed 137 soldiers at the base. The group did not provide further details if there were any casualties on their side. However, the federal government of Somalia expresses its strong condemnation of the recent attack on the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia front operating base in the Pulamarer area of the Lower Shabelle region. The federal government of Somalia expresses its strong condemnation of the recent attack on the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia front operating base in the Pulamarer area of the Lower Shabelle region. Somalia extends its heartfelt sympathies to the people and leadership of Uganda, the African Union Transition in Somalia, and the Somalia National Armed Forces who have been affected by this tragic event, and said they stand in solidarity with the families of the victims and offer their wishes for a swift recovery to the injured. Throughout the years, the statement added that Somalia's security forces have displayed unwavering strength and resilience in the face of terrorism. They remain steadfast in their commitment to eliminating the menace of Al-Shabaab not only in Somalia but also in the wider region. The federal government of Somalia acknowledges and sincerely appreciates the collaborative efforts of all their partners and the unity demonstrated during this distressing incident. According to the Ministry of Information, this shared commitment to combating terrorism reinforces their determination to restore peace and security in Somalia and beyond. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States have urged Sudanese army and rapid support forces to renew the recently procured truce in order for humanitarian aid to reach those affected by the conflict.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States have called on the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) to renew the imperfectly observed ceasefire to allow humanitarian efforts to reach the affected people in the fighting. In a joint statement, the two countries asked for the renewal of a ceasefire agreement that had provided some relief to a 6-week battle between military factions. It noted that both sides had hampered assistance deliveries and were threatening further escalation. The Army's airstrikes and seizure of medical supplies, as well as the RSF's occupation of civilian buildings and looting, were cited as violations of the truce. Residents reported hearing clashes overnight and on Sunday in the capital, Khartoum, while human rights monitors also said deadly fighting occurred in El Fasher, one of the main cities in Darfur's western area. As fighting spilled into another week, the RSF stated that it is willing to explore the prospect of renewing the agreement and that it would continue to monitor it to test the seriousness and commitment of the other party to proceed with the renewal of the agreement or not, while the army, in its part, confirmed that it was discussing the prospect of extending the deadline. The truce has provided some relief from the intensive combat, but intermittent confrontations and airstrikes have continued. The fighting between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF), which began on April 15, has left the capital reeling from intense battles, lawlessness, and breakdown in services, displacing almost 1.4 million people and threatening to destabilize the region. The Health Ministry reported that at least 730 people have died in the conflict across the country, though the true total is likely to be far higher. Kamel Sadiq, CBA TV.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has conveyed his concerns regarding an assault conducted by Al-Shabaab on Ugandan soldiers stationed in Marer, Somalia, in a formal statement shared on social media. But we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human angle, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
Welcome back again. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has conveyed his concerns regarding an assault conducted by Al-Shabaab on Ugandan soldiers stationed in Marer, Somalia, in a formal statement shared on social media.
In a similar development, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has conveyed his concerns regarding an assault conducted by Al-Shabaab on Ugandan soldiers stationed in Marer, Somalia, in a formal statement shared on social media. Bringing attention to the incident, the president urged for prompt action and stressed the significance of adequate preparedness in combat missions. It disclosed that certain soldiers had experienced a state of panic during the attack, leading to disarray. However, the president underscored that this panic was unwarranted, as the soldiers had already successfully neutralized the imminent danger. Museveni emphasized that both the anti-tank ditch and their troops had effectively demolished the 3 explosive-laden vehicles positioned outside the Forward Operation Base (FOB). Consequently, the suicide bombers were compelled to detonate themselves prior to gaining access into the base. Expressing his regret, President Yoweri Museveni acknowledged the missed opportunity in the situation. Furthermore, he extended his heartfelt condolences to the families of the fallen soldiers, while reminding all parties involved that operations in Somalia encompass combat missions rather than welfare initiatives.
In a recent development, the Somali National Army has reported the successful neutralization of 8 members affiliated with the Al-Shabaab group. This achievement was attained through a meticulously executed special operation conducted near the towns of Galad and Masagwai, situated within the Galgaduud region of Galmudug State in Somalia. In a recent development, the Somali National Army has reported the successful neutralization of 8 members affiliated with the Al-Shabaab group. This achievement was attained through a meticulously executed special operation conducted near the towns of Galad and Masagwa, situated within the Galgaduud region of Galmudug State in Somalia. Commander Osman Abdullahi, leading the Somali National Army forces in the region, disclosed to the Somali National News Agency that the operation transpired during a routine patrol, resulting in a significant triumph for the security forces. This operation follows a series of intensified efforts by the Somali National Army in collaboration with international partners to combat Al-Shabaab fighters within the nation. Remarkable progress has been made in the military campaign against the group, according to the authorities. Moreover, the federal government outlined its intention to initiate the second phase of the anti-Al-Shabaab operation. Encompassing a comprehensive nationwide effort, regional countries are anticipated to join forces in the upcoming military operations, further strengthening the collective fight against Al-Shabaab. Somalia government and the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia have reached an agreement to enhance the security of key supply routes with the aim of facilitating the delivery of vital humanitarian aid to the southern Somalia. Senior Somali officials and military officers from ATMIS recently engaged in discussions focused on this objective. Somalia government and the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia have reached an agreement to enhance the security of key supply routes with the aim of facilitating the delivery of vital humanitarian aid to southern Somalia. Senior Somali officials and military officers from ATMIS recently engaged in discussions focused on this objective. The meeting, which included the participation of Middle Shabelle leaders, centered on assessing the progress made and the challenges encountered during the upcoming second phase of operations against Al-Shabaab in the southern region of Somalia. This next phase is slated to commence in the near future. The African Union reiterated its commitment to supporting the security forces of Somalia in their efforts to safeguard critical supply routes against attacks carried out by Al-Shabaab and other armed groups. The AU also emphasized the importance of ensuring unhindered movement of goods and services. The AU pledged to strengthen the partnership between ATMIS Burundi forces and the administration of Middle Shabelle in order to enhance the security of Hirshabelle state. The administration of Middle Shabelle underscored the necessity of preventing Al-Shabaab from disrupting the movement of civilians and security forces along major supply routes. And with that story of the Somalia and the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia have reached an agreement to enhance the security of key supply routes with the aim of facilitating the delivery vital humanitarian aid to southern Somalia. We'll wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. This is me, Hamza Daabjeerin.